What's up, guys? Hey, I'm back. Yes, I was out for a couple days. I drove from Miami to, Palm Beach to Las Vegas. That's a long drive. I'm going to get into Lucas Mirtl filing suit against Wasserman. Yeah, I told you guys this was a setup, and it sure looks like it. And with Jett winning A2, but what's this going to do to his reputation? Because I got some information that's not good. But first, I want to thank the Grandal family and Nano-Xtreme. I flew out there. Get this story, guys. So I was going to move to Thailand because financially it made sense. My daughter needs a car. I was going to give her my car and then go over to Thailand where I wouldn't need one, do videos from there. Well, Nano-Xtreme wants me in the United States. So they're like, listen, fly out here. We've got a car for you. I have a company car now. So that's why I was driving back from Florida in my new company car. How about that? Nano-Xtreme. What a badass company. And I'll tell you what, hanging out with the entire Grandal family, I've met them all. They are some of the best people ever. I got to hang out with Coach Rob and his beautiful wife, Michaela. It was a lot of fun. But I am tired, so I'm going to run through this stuff pretty quick. Don't forget to get yourself some Nano-Xtreme. I used it the entire trip. I was driving 15 hours every day, putting it on my back, my wrist. And you know what, guys? If you want to try Nano-Xtreme and you're like looking at it, you're like kind of skeptical, email me your address, chriscookseymedia@gmail.com. I will send you a sample to try. Email me your information and I will get you some Nano to try. That's it. And if you already know it works and you want the big one, order it at Nano-Xtreme. Use code Cooksey for free shipping. If you're running out of content, make sure you head over to Coach Rob's. Coach Rob has some really unique content. He's taking former riders and industry people and talking about kind of what's next in their careers and really in depth of, how the industry has left them. I mean, what next? Because it is hard. After racing is not easy. People, think it's all this fairy tale. It's not. It is very difficult. Head over to the Coach Rob Podcast Network and check those out. There's some good shows over there.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So I jumped on this early because the facts around the Lucas Mirtl dismissal, publicly humiliating posts that were going around about Lucas Mirtl, it was a setup. There was way more to this. And I have spoken at length with Lucas Mirtl about this, how this happened. And I had originally thought that there was money that he had borrowed from an account and didn't tell. That didn't even happen. Apparently, Lucas went back and was editing all these accounts. Every single dollar was accounted for. And whatever money was taken out was accounted for as where it was, when it was coming back. It was to a T. So yeah, he filed suit, or he's going to file suit. I think he was going to do it today or tomorrow, filing suit. So he is going back at Wasserman, and I've got some more reasons as to why this happened. One of the first reasons is flat out money. So Wasserman, while they're a gigantic agency, they have football players, baseball players, all this stuff. They seem like there's this gigantic agency. You have to really look at it. So if you take a look at the football players, most of them are on the league minimum. Now Wasserman and the agents in motocross, they're getting Wasserman is getting 10 to 20% from the Lawrence brothers. Look at the football players. They're getting 2 to 3%. And now when you try to go get a football player, there's so many agents. You have to you have to spend for 3 years to try and even get somebody to be your client. It's way more competitive than our sport. And with the kind of money that the Lawrences are making right now, and Wasserman, if they just want to boost those numbers up, all they got to do, clip Mirtl. It's a lot more complicated than that. It's not like Wasserman just wanted to get rid of him. And trust me, it's easy to dislike agents. They're like car salesmen. There's some real scumbags, and then there's some people that give you really fair deals. And it sucks when the decent car salesman gets accused of being like the snake oil salesman. And that is, I think, what is happening here. Lucas has made his fair share of enemies, absolutely. And he's made his fair share of mistakes, some of which I've called out. The way he treated Club MX when Enzo Lopes left, I thought that was a mistake. I told Lucas that. We've talked about that. And he's like, yeah. And he owns it. And that's the thing, is he owns it. And that's the one thing I like about Mirtl, is he does own his mistakes. But the way this thing went down, Lucas was discussing business with them Tuesday night. Nobody said a word. Meanwhile, they all knew this was happening. Jacob Hayes, who he brought into this business, Jacob was down and out. He had gotten injuries. On the main event moto show, we were raffling off stuff to pay for his medical bills and just help Jacob. He was in a bad way. Lucas brought him in, took him under his wing. Lucas thought he was his best friend. They were constantly together, taking care of business, doing stuff. He had no idea that Jacob would do something like this. So yeah, Lucas feels completely betrayed by Jacob Hayes and Travis Clark. And Jacob's got some explaining to do because he knew about this and was calling Lucas's clients the second that legal notice landed at Mirtl's porch. And what's weird is, so Travis Clark and Jacob are calling all these clients, and the clients are asking questions. And here's the weird thing about it is they're giving different answers as to what Mirtl did. And that's where it gets tricky because, like, okay, well, if they can't even tell you exactly what he did he really do anything? And Lucas swears he did not. And I talked to him before he went on the Pulp Show last night. And he was like, listen, I don't want to hide. He doesn't feel like talking right now. He still feels completely betrayed. But at the same time, he's like, listen, I'm not guilty. I didn't do this. I'm not going to hide. And I want to keep the clients that want to stay with me. Honestly, the way Wasserman, Jacob Hayes, and Travis Clark have handled this, I wouldn't stay with Wasserman. If I was one of their riders, I'd be like, screw you guys. If you guys can do that to somebody, you could do that to me. That is not good people to be associated with. And I think the reason it was so easy to pile on is just agents. We've seen so many people in this sport rip off riders, rip off teams. Look at what the Butler brothers did. How many times did people cover up for the Butler brothers and how much money that guy stole, and he ran Blake Baggett right out of the sport. But these media outlets didn't cover it. That's why I think there's something going on here. And I think Racer X, Feld, MX Sports, they realized how powerful Lucas was getting. This is typical Davey Coombs. Drop it in their ear. If you go back to the preview show, Steve Mathis says the reason people are booing Jett is because of the Jett Lawrence experience. And he kind of points out, he doesn't say Mirtl's name, but he points out all the things that Lucas has done and says, yeah, that's why they're booing him. Those types of things are why I think there's more to this. Did Feld and MX Sports directly go to Wasserman and say, hey, we've got a plan, get rid of it? No, absolutely not. But what they do is they create a divide and they start it rolling. That's the chess that Davey Coombs plays. It's slick, man. It really is. And to hear Steve on there last night going, oh yeah, we're still friends. We're still friends. Listen, I've dealt with Steve on a personal level. I kind of thought we were friends. He is not anyone's friend. This guy will stab anyone in the back over anything and he'll lie about it. He's a piece of crap. But I can tell you right now, this thing's not over and it's going to get really ugly. And a lot of it was that divide. So once, Racer X and these people put out this narrative. So once Racer X starts, their little entourage and they drop these little things out there here and there, these nuggets, they were planting seeds of division to split Lawrence's. That's what they were doing. And the Lawrence's, they had Lucas over for Christmas. Meanwhile, they're already making plans to dump him. That's dirty. That is dirty, rotten. You would think, being what they claim to be is these stand-up Australians who just call it how it is, you would think they would go to Lucas and say, Lucas, you know what? This isn't working out. We think you've made some mistakes. We're going to go in a different direction. Lucas would be disappointed, but he would understand because he truly, up until before, he loved he loves those kids. Like he would do anything for them. And while it would have hurt him, I think he would have transferred it over to Jacob Hayes or whoever they needed and stepped back if that was truly how they felt. Instead, they do this weird numbers thing with an account that's, has 4 people have access to it and there's all these miscellaneous charges and they try and pin it on Mirtl for theft, which, like I said, taking Mirtl at his word, that is not theft and every penny's accounted for and he absolutely did not steal. And he's absolutely destroyed that people would accuse him of that. People who he thinks as highly of them as he does. But once again, it's so easy to dislike agents. So many agents have done so many horrible things. I talked to a guy who was buying a facility from I'm not going to name names. He was buying a facility from a rider in Florida. He went, told the agent was handling the sale. Gives him the number because this is what the guy determined after doing his due diligence, what it was worth. Goes to the agent, gives him the number. The agent says, no, I don't think he's going to take it. And then he comes back and says, you know what? If you write me for a check for $25,000, I'll make sure this rider accepts your deal. Seriously, And this agent still has some very high profile riders in our sport right now. That's why I don't want to name names because I don't want to hurt a source or anything like that. But this happened. 100% happened. Did that guy get burned? Did that guy get roasted by everybody? Nah. That's why I feel like there's something up with this, because I don't even think Mirtl did it and he got burned when I know other people have done unscrupulous things and they're just walking around, no big deal. Anyway, stay tuned. I'm trying to get Mirtl to come on and tell his entire story and just tell us everything from his mouth instead of just having me relay it. I think he will. I mean, like I said, on Pulp, he didn't say much. He was just trying to show his face and let people know he's not hiding. But I want to have him on my show and really get into depth about what happened, how it happened. I told him the truth sets you free. You come on here and you tell the truth, it will set you free. So hopefully I can get Mirtl on here to tell his side and give him a platform. And when he's on, trust me, I'll challenge him and ask him, why is this? Why is that? But it doesn't look good. The way they blew him out without even letting him know is almost a guarantee that this was a setup and they wanted him out for some reason. Check out Ride Strapped. Ride Strapped, my favorite goggle company, glasses, shirts, get your Industry Outsider shirt. Chris is going to have the Cooksy Cookout in Daytona, so we'll be there. Pretty soon we'll start signing people up. We'll have a limited amount of spots depending on what place we get there in Florida, but we will have a Cooksy Cookout. You guys can just come hang out, we barbecue, bench race, and just have a good old time. Hit it, ridestrap.com. Precision Transport, the best shipping company in the business. They are a shipping company that has customer service. The lost art of customer service. Precision Transport still has it. Hit them up at pretransport.com. Check out Motobilia. This is a company. So when you buy memorabilia, it's really hard to make sure it's authentic. Motobilia does that for you. They track down this stuff, make sure it's authentic, make sure it's original parts. If they say it's this guy's bike, it will be that guy's bike. And we're gonna have some really cool giveaways on the show from Motobilia. So check out motobilia.com. So back to on-track stuff. Jett looks like a guy who's going to dominate. I mean, he looked so good on Saturday night. He kind of laid back. He knew he had the extra speed. He wasn't getting heavy pressure from anyone. He knows if he sticks it in on Anderson, Anderson might go nuclear and take them both down. So he waited and waited and made a super polite pass because he knew he had the speed. And that's the thing. He's so good, he doesn't have to force it. He can use the other stuff. Now, if he starts roughing these, bumping into these guys, then they have permission to cream him right now. So if Jett makes a perfectly clean pass and Anderson creams him, then Anderson's getting in trouble or it doesn't look good. But if Jett hits him, then it's like gloves are off. We can do whatever we want. Jett didn't give him that. Jett, he just made sure to not start the fight, and that was brilliant. As little as I think of them off the track, on the track, you cannot say anything. Jett Lawrence, still the same talent, same rider, same badass dude. I mean, he is next. He's like an alien, man. How he hit that 4, like over the little on-off, and then he was going to go 4 into the turn before it started raining. Dang, that's crazy. How about Ken Roxon? Kickstart Kenny. He still doesn't have his electric start, but he's doing really good on that bike. I mean, I did not have him leading after 3 rounds. Do I think he's going to win the championship? No, absolutely not. Come on. Do any of you guys really think he's going to be there at the end? But I do think he's going to get a win or 2, and he'll be there on given nights, and he's maybe going to finish out 2nd or 3rd in the points. But man, good for Kenny. I can't knock it. He is doing far better than I thought he would. What happened to Eli Tomac? I know he spun off the start, but he did not look good that entire main event. Was this one of his weirdo rides? Remember how he had those back in the day? I mean, they're not as bad as they used to be where he would just go backwards or just not look good. But he had a little bit of that. I'm not going to lie. It gave me a little bit of a feeling of, oh no, is this one of those nights for Eli where he just doesn't do it? He has got to win, and he's got to win soon, because if Jett goes on a roll, this thing could be over here real soon. And how about Jason Anderson fighting through illness to get on the podium? I mean, if he had a little bit more energy in him, I think he would have fought and maybe got the win. He looks like that was a new Jason Anderson. That's what I expected at round 1. Illness sucks. Everybody seems to be getting sick this year. Chase Sexton also, he was really sick. He charged, and you could see he just ran out of steam. Whatever colds are going around, especially in the pits, they're nasty, man. They are nasty, and these are top-flight athletes that have to race every single week. It's brutal. What about that turnaround from Justin Cooper? Holy crap. After the heat race, I was like, geez, that would be tough to go back to the factory truck when you rode around in 10th place and didn't even pass. Like, Plessinger and him were in the same, like, Plessinger was behind him. passed him, went up, finished like 4th or 5th, qualified. He didn't even get past enough guys to qualify. That was an ugly, ugly heat race, but he totally redeemed himself in that main event with that hole shot. If he could have skimmed the whoops, he'd had a really good night. And now the track at Anaheim, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I liked most of the track. I have no idea why they do split starts. I think they're the stupidest thing. And it's not necessarily that there's one side unfair to the other. It's when they come together with such a force, the guys aren't expecting it, and there's a lot of tangles. This was not a bad one. As far as split starts go, this was probably one of the better ones because they had that nice wide first turn. What I have a problem with is the dog leg in the rhythm section, because that just makes for single file. But the rest of the track was awesome. 2 whoop sections, some really challenging rhythms, but that one dog leg section where it kind of just bent in the rhythm, you can't pass a guy. I mean, if you go to pass a guy, they have to cross jump because there's a turn in the rhythm. I don't know what else you do. Please don't do that, guys. Make rhythms straight. And in my 15-hour drive yesterday, I happened to watch Pulpamex because I wanted to see how Mirtl came off. Watched that, watched a little bit more, and I was laughing because I don't know if you guys remember, a couple years ago, I've been talking about 2-row starts for a long time and making qualifying matter and doing, I've wanted that for a long time because I think the bikes are too fast, the tracks are too small, the stadiums. I think a 2-row start, it's time. I've been saying that for years. Somebody, when I did a video on it, somebody called into Pulp that week. I don't know if they watched this show or not, and asked about it. And Steve just crapped all over the idea. Said it was the dumbest thing he'd ever heard. And then he's on Pulp last night talking about how a 2-row start is the way to go. That is Steve Matthes to a T. He lets his emotions determine whatever his opinions are. He can't ever say, well, I don't like him, but that's a good idea. He can't do that. If he doesn't like you, you're bad idea. There's no right or wrong. Guy's an idiot. And if you really want to fix something safety-wise, the tough blocks. Did you see Kyle Chisholm darn near kill himself because he caught his foot peg? Seriously. And what drives me absolutely nuts about this is the Paris Supercross has a solution. They have those tough boxes that are like rounded and they don't grab the foot pegs. That's the answer. Why wouldn't they do that? I don't understand why they're stuck with the ones that are hurting riders. They just don't care at all. They pretend to care and go 9 whoops, but when it comes to something that affects sponsorship dollars, they're not budging one bit. They don't care if dudes die. That's just how Feld and MX Sports work. Anyway, guys, I'm beat. I have driven 36 hours in 2.5 days, and so I'm going to go ahead and chop up this video. But hey, remember, members, I'm giving away a set of Alias gear. And if you saw Justin Starling out there in his Alias gear, man, he did Hunter Schlosser bad in that. I think it was the LCQ. I mean, he just clobbered him. But hey, that's racing in the LCQ, right? But Justin Starling looked good in that Alias gear. Get your pant jersey glove. All you members that have signed up, you're registered to win. And then we're also giving away some Nano Xtreme. If you signed up, you're already registered. So thank you